Hi, my name is Joe Flores. I'm a lawyer for the last 21 years and a nurse practitioner for 24. Before that, I was an ICU nurse. The reason I'm telling you this is because I saw so many car crashes. I saw so many needless deaths. I saw people that their lives were changed forever. People that stayed paralyzed, people who had brain injuries, and I helped take care of them. One of the reasons I became a lawyer is that for lawyers, I reviewed the medical records and to try to convince a insurance company they should pay a certain amount of money. Well, you've got to earn it. You've got to show them that the person is going to be hurt for a long period of time. And that is where the process comes in. Many of you all have never been in a car accident, God forbid. And I'm going to tell you right now, contrary to all of these commercials on TV, you don't need a lawyer every time. You can handle smaller cases by yourself. There are some rules of the road. If somebody is hurt, you have to make what's called a blue form. If there is $1,000 in property damage, or if there's somebody that's hurt, even though it's a little bit pushy, you really must insist for the police officer to make a police report, because who are they going to believe later? It's going to be a he said, she said. So our program today is going to be talking about car wrecks. I handle car wrecks, and I also review the medical from car wrecks because of my healthcare background. And that also comes in handy when you're talking to adjusters and when you're issuing out what's called demand letters. Those are, hey, pay me, my client is hurt. And you show them that the medical that they received is legitimate. Often the insurance companies say, oh, Joe or Greg or Tom or whomever, you inflated the medical data to reflect that the person is more hurt than they really are. I'm not saying that that does not happen, but not on my watch. There is nothing worse than getting the reputation of blowing up somebody's damages. And plus, most people are very honest. They don't feel right about going endlessly to a chiropractor or a physical therapist or getting the fifth MRI or getting injections in their back when they feel, now, with that being said, often in the first few days of an accident, you may not feel anything. I myself have been through that with disc bulging and things, and I said, boy, I feel fit as a horse. And then 3-4 days later, what happened? I can't feel my leg. And these are true stories. It happens. So what we're going to do is talk about the anatomy of a car wreck. Let's just use the fender bender example, and then we'll go to the 18-wheeler example before we go on a break. The fender bender example that we use is, somebody rear-ended me or somebody hit me from the back. My neck is a little bit sore. I'll be fine. Are you really? A lot of the time, when you're young, you don't feel the pain. You don't feel the discomfort until you get to be about my age, and you don't have to ask Dale Nelson about the weather because you can feel the weather change. That can be from osteoarthritis, that can be from rheumatoid arthritis, that can be from many other things, but often it's attributed to having had a devastating car accident. And that's why you only get one shot. When you do get help from a lawyer, it's often your last sort of option. Because you've said, look, I don't want to mess with lawyers. So many people will call up their insurance company. And the worst thing, the hardest thing, is to get a loaner. A loaner car is tough. And getting that and also going without a car for days can cost you your job, can cost you your independence. And so that is one of the toughest things to do. So what I recommend is agitate, and talk to your insurance company. And if you have the information, which you should have from the other driver, you put it in writing. So many of us are so good at putting in writing things that are so important to us, but when it comes to ourselves, we don't put it in writing. Put it in writing. Write down, we are not getting a loaner car. We are on foot, and you have the right to get a car up to 30 days or more, if need be, until your car is repaired. The other thing that you've got to remember is, when we're talking about property damage, is diminution in value. What does that mean? Well, if a car is wrecked, and you try to resell it, guess what? The VIN is going to show that it's been in a wreck. You might have a frame that's bent. You might have other damages that diminishes the value, diminution in value of your trade-in, of your car. So you have to remember that when you're asking for money from an insurance company through no fault of your own, somebody else hit you, that you are taken care of. The other big thing, and I hate to bring this up, but it's true, and this is not one of these call, this number and give me a call. I'm not here for that. I'm here to educate you on this. Many people do not carry insurance. They will buy the 6-month version of it, pay a month, and then dump the insurance. They think the police don't know. Guess what? Nowadays, the police know everything. They run it, and they know you don't have insurance. And what happens to the person that pays their bills, gets up in the morning, brushes their teeth, and they earn a living, and they pay the exorbitant amounts for insurance? Guess what? Their uninsured motorist is going to have to foot the bill. They are going to have to pay for everything. And is that fair? That is not fair. But it happens. And you have to be prepared for that. So I always tell everybody, if you can, always carry uninsured motorists. That means those that may hit you or that you get in an accident with, that you have insurance to cover those people that just don't have the financial wherewithal or that just don't accept responsibility and pay their fare of insurance and say, somebody will handle it, not me. Also, you need to carry your own personal injury protection and your medical coverage, because you may have some severe injuries and you don't want to pay all of that out of pocket. Plus, if you've got medical insurance, as we all know, that takes a while to pay. So we've got a few minutes left. We've covered the basics of insurance coverage. We've covered the basics of why you need to carry uninsured motorist, comprehensive coverage, personal injury protection, and read what's called a deck sheet. When you call Geico or when you call Progressive or Fred Lawyer, whatever insurance, ask them for the declaration page. What does that sucker do? That shows what exactly is covered on your car. I had to do that because I've got an 18-year-old and I wanted to see how much was covered. And so I got it all. And I looked at it and I said, can't we lower this and just do this a little bit? Plus, my wife and I just took a defensive driving course, and it lowered it a little bit, saved a little money with 10 minutes of my time. We managed to save $500 every 6 months. Hallelujah. And so shop around. When we come back in a minute, we're going to be talking about the anatomy of a car wreck, what happens when you get hit in a car wreck, and soft tissue isn't necessarily soft tissue, as they call it. You can suffer a brain injury. You can suffer many things. As a nurse practitioner and as a lawyer, I know from seeing MRIs, from taking care of people that have been in devastating injuries, that the insurance companies often want you to think that it's not so bad, but in fact it is. In the last 30 seconds that we have, please give me a call if you have any questions on car wrecks, 361-887-8670. We want you to feel comfortable calling and asking questions about your car wreck. Often, and I'm not criticizing those that have their commercials, and they serve a great purpose in getting the information out and hiring somebody that will take care of your car wreck. But boy, are there too many of those. We're out of time right now. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to get into the meat and potatoes of a car wreck and what you should do immediately after one when we come back.